So HMD Global has just launched their fresh all-new Nokia 6.2, and it probably won't shock you much to learn that it's an update to the old Nokia 6.1. I've had my greasy mitts all over it, and so far it is looking like a rather effing lovely mid-tier handset, boasting a stock, well-supported version of Android, a fresh triple-lens camera around back, and impressive media chops, all for a very affordable asking price. Here's my full Nokia 6.2 hands-on, and stay tuned for a full review coming very soon indeed, with any luck at all. Let's start with design. And you can grab the Nokia 6.2 in either ice white or ceramic black. It's a very familiar Nokia style in here, except you get a new circular camera housing around back for that new triple lens setup. More on that in a bit. Tease, tease, tease. The aluminium chassis is topped with a polymer composite, which is half the weight of aluminium, but apparently still pretty damn tough. And then there's extra protection on top of that in the form of Gorilla Glass. You get Gorilla Glass actually on the back and the front as well for added protection. On my hands-on session, I couldn't exactly hurl the wee bugger off a wall or anything. There were PRs watching me, but it does feel pretty rugged. Although this thing does also attract dust like a Greggs attracts fat chavs. It's an absolute nightmare to film. It was coated in a fresh layer of crap milliseconds after I gave it a good wiping down. And around back you also get a rear fingerprint sensor as well, proper physical scanner, not one of these in-screen efforts. Flip the Nokia 6.2 around and you'll spy a 6.3-inch Full HD Plus PureDisplay panel, which seems one of the better screens found at this sort of price point. This thing hits 500 nits at maximum brightness, so it's definitely eye-searing, and it covers 96% of the color gamut, I'm assuming Adobe. There's a dinky little notch, so minimal intrusion, and not much in the way of bezels either beyond a slightly chunky bottom effort. Nokia has boosted those visuals with a nice bit of SDR to HDR style upscaling just to boast the color tonality and also the contrast levels as well. Apparently that will work with all of your video output, and you also get automatic color tone adjustment as well as brightness adjustment based on your environmental conditions, so that's lovely. Sadly, there is not a stereo speaker setup on the Nokia 6.2. All of the audio is pumped out of the bottom firing blaster, although at least you do actually get a headphone jack. Hooray! And like all other Nokia smartphones, the Nokia 6.2 boasts a nice clean version of Android Pie, should get an update to Android 10 imminently, and of course you can expect probably an update to Android 11 next year quite happily as well, thanks to that nice clean nature of the OS. There's no crapware or anything on there, and security updates wise you're fine, you're sorted for the next 3 years too. Now, packed inside the Nokia 6.2 is Qualcomm's Snapdragon 636 chipset, backed by either 3 or 4 gigs of RAM. Here's hoping it means smooth performance here on the Nokia 6.2. That was the chipset used in the 7.1, and it was occasionally a little bit clunky and slow, so here's hoping those little issues have been rectified here. And as for the battery tech, you get a 3500 milliamp cell, so that should hopefully keep you going all day long, especially as this is a nice stock version of Android. But what about the Nokia 6.2's camera tech? Well, that main primary lens is a 16 megapixel effort, and it's bolstered by an ultra-wide angle 118 degree lens, and sadly there isn't a telephoto lens. That third snapper is a depth sensor for your portrait shots. You can capture some respectable looking snaps with this thing, complete with the usual support for picture-in-picture and HDR situations as well, or you can shoot up to 4K resolution video with spatial audio support. You also get a fresh new portrait mode to make full use of that dedicated depth sensor. This gives you a bunch of effects that you can actually add in afterwards and adjust the level of blur. It all seems to work perfectly well on my hands-on session. And there's also a new low light mode as well, which can tell whether you're clutching the phone or whether it's actually stuck in a tripod, and then take a whole bunch of shots and combine them together to brighten things up and really cut down on that grain. I didn't have the chance to properly test this unfortunately in my brightly lit demo room, but as I say, hopefully get a hands on a full review sample soon so I can really give it a go. And the good news is that works even with the ultra-wide angle lens as well as the primary lens. Now, the Nokia 6.2 will be released in the UK and globally in October. It'll cost you from €199. That'll bag you 3 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of storage. Otherwise, you can also grab a €249 model, which has 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage. So if you want that sort of slightly smoother, more reliable performance and a bit more storage for all of your media and your apps, definitely recommend just bumping up that budget a little bit if possible. So what do you reckon? That's my hands-on review with the Nokia 6.2. Certainly right now seems like a solid one for that sort of asking price. But of course there's also the new Nokia 7.2, bit of a bump in price but offers even sexier camera features and a little bit of a boost to some of those specs as well. So go check out my full hands-on review with the Nokia 7.2 right now as well, and stay tuned for in-depth reviews of both handsets. Please do poke, subscribe and ding that there notifications bell so you'll be the first to see all of that sexy shenanigans. Cheers everyone, love you!